Hello everyone. Today in our lecture we will derive the expression for the capacitance of a three-phase transmission line when the conductors are equilaterally placed. That is, the conductors have the distances between them same or equal. That is, they are placed on the vertices of an equilateral triangle. Why an equilateral triangle? Because we know an equilateral triangle has equal sides. Like I have shown here that the three conductors, conductor A, B, C, are making the vertex of an equilateral triangle with the sides D. That is, all the three sides are equal with spacing, center to center spacing being D. And I also assume that the radius of each conductor is equal. That is, they are having the same radius, that is R. Now let us see how to derive the expression. We have studied in the last video that to calculate the voltage or the potential difference between 2 points due to a charge, we use the formula V12, let us say V12, that is between point 1 and point 2, is given by Q natural log D2 by D1. That is the position of point 2 divided by position of point 1. So let us see how to write the expression for VAB when there are three charges. This expression was for only single charge. Now I can use the superposition principle to write the expression even for multiple charges. Let us see how to do that. Now first we will see that these charges QA, QB, QC will vary sinusoidally since we are taking an AC current or AC voltage source. So these charges will also vary sinusoidally, that is, these are also phasor. If we represent in these in phasor domain, then QA, QB, QC also represent phasors. Similarly, VAB will represent a phasor. Now, if it was not an AC or sinusoidal voltage, then similarly these charges would have changed their formation. Now we have assumed a three-phase supply, so we are using phasor notations. This bar over the letter represents a phasor, and if I don't give a bar, then I try to show that it is either magnitude and which is being shown in RMS values. Now let us see how to write the expression of VAB. You see, this is a factor 1 upon 2 pi epsilon is common everywhere. So I will take 1 by 2 pi epsilon as common outside. Now writing the voltage or the potential difference between 2 points, that is point A and B, point A and B due to the charge QA. Writing QA natural log D2 by D1. D for charge at A, the position of point 2 is at distance D. This is point 1, this is point 2. So D2 will be D and D1 will be nothing but the radius of this conductor. So I will write natural log D by R. Now coming to the charge B, writing the same equation, similar equation for charge B also, writing QB. Now what is D2 here? The position of point 2. The position of point 2 from charge B is just R distance away. So I am writing D2 as R. Similarly, point 1 is at D distance away. So I will write D here. So the expression will become QB natural log R by D. Now writing due to the charge QC, we will see that while writing D2 by D1, both points, point 1 and point 2, both points are placed at equal distances, that is D and D. So this expression will be 0 since it will come out to be natural log 1, which is 0. So these two terms will remain. Now writing an expression for VAC, similarly we will see that 1 by 2 pi epsilon will come outside writing for QA. Now for VAC, this will be 0.1 and this one will be 0.2. So writing natural log d2 by d1, for this d2 is equal to capital D and d1 will be its radius only. Now writing the potential difference due to charge B, we will see QB. Now see, if the charge QB is here, then D2, this is D2 and this is D1, both are equal. So D2 by D1 will give me 1. Natural log 1 is equal to 0. So this term is also equal to 0. Now writing the potential difference between point A and C, that is 1, 2, due to the charge QC will give me, for charge QC, the distance D2 is just its radius and distance D1 is equal to D. So the expression will be QC natural log R by D. Let us say it is equation 2 and the first one is equation 1. Now before going to further steps, let us see how we can represent these two voltages in phasor form also. As we know that this is a balanced three-phase system which we have taken in our case. So I can represent VAB, VBC, VCA as sides of an equilateral triangle. Now I want to add VAB and VAC. So this is VCA. So what will be VAC? Just I will reverse the direction. So this will become VAC. Now adding VAB and VAC will give me this value. What will be the magnitude? I can write it directly using calculator or using the method of addition of phasors or vectors, since phasors add similar to vectors. Now as we already know that VAB and VAC are line to line voltages, so I have written their magnitude as VLL, that is V line to line. I am taking VAB as reference phasor, so this will be V angle 0. And what will be VAC? If it is angle 0, now this will be minus 60 degree. So VAC can be written as V line to line angle minus 60 degree. Using calculator, it will come out to be root 3 VL angle minus 30 degree, or using the vector addition rule, I can directly write V1 square V2 square plus 2V1 V2 cos of angle theta between them, which is minus 60 degree only. The expression will come out to be this. Now we already know that if balanced three-phase system, we have this expression between line to line voltages and line to neutral voltages. That is, the magnitude of line to line voltage is root 3 times of line to neutral voltage. So putting this here, I will get the magnitude of VAB and VAC as 3 times of line to neutral voltage, or I can write it equal to 3 times of VAN. Okay, that is line to neutral voltage magnitude. Now let us come back to equation 1 and 2. On adding these 1 and 2, what I will get? QA will become twice, this term will become twice. Okay, now these are common here. Taking this common, so QB and QC will add. Okay, QB and QC will add. Now we already know, since these are balanced phasor, so QA plus QB plus QC will be equal to 0, or QB plus QC will be equal to minus of QA. So writing it equal to minus of QA will give me this value. Now changing this minus sign to plus will invert this ratio. It will convert to natural log D by R. We will see it will become 2 plus 1, that is 3 QA natural log D by R, which I have shown here. Now if I compare equation 4 and equation 3, we will see that 3 times of VAN, that is VAB plus VAC, 3 times of VAN is equal to 3 times of QA natural D by R upon 2 pi epsilon. So VAN will come out to be QA by 2 pi epsilon natural log D by R volt. Now to find the capacitance, what we need to do? We simply need to divide the charge per unit length with the voltage which we have derived just now. So if I divide the charge on conductor A per unit length by the voltage between phase A and neutral, I will get the capacitance of phase A with respect to neutral, that is I will get per phase values. So this will come out to be 2 pi epsilon upon natural log D by R farad per meter. Note the units, it is farad per meter. Now if I want to convert into ohm, then I will get the value ohm meter. Let us see in the next slide. Now let's see how to calculate the value of charging current. Now I have shown here two cases. First case is for single phase line, that is single phase line. I have shown the equivalent capacitance between these two conductors of phase one phase line as CAB and the voltage difference between these 2 points as VAB. Now we derived in previous video that CAB was equal to 2 pi epsilon divided by natural log D by R farad per meter. So from this equivalent circuit diagram, I can easily calculate the current which will be going into this capacitance, which will be equal to the charging current. So IAB will be equal to VAB divided by the capacitive impedance or capacitive reactance, which will equal to 1 by j omega CAB. So it will come out to be j omega CAB into VAB ampere per meter. Now let us see what is the case for 3-phase line. Now I have shown here the equivalent circuit for a 3-phase line. Since I have taken a balanced system, so the capacitances to neutral for all 3 phases will be equal. Let us say it is equal to CAN, CAN and CAN. Now since the system is balanced, so the voltage is VAN, VBN, VCN will be equal in magnitude and the neutral current will be equal to 0. So I can write the equations on per phase basis. If you do not know why we can write this in per phase system, per phase basis, please review the video wherein I have solved an example on per phase basis. I believe it is around 9th or 10th lecture. Now let us see how to calculate the charging current in 3-phase equivalent circuit. Now IA will be equal to the phase voltage, that is voltage between A and N divided by the impedance. So it will be equal to 1 by j omega CAN or equal to j omega CAN into VAN ampere per meter. Now notice the difference between these two equations, this equation and this equation. We will see here that for single phase line we used line to line capacitance, but for a 3-phase line we have used only line to neutral capacitance. That is the difference. That is for the 3-phase system, if the system is balanced or if we have transposed it, then we can use per phase analysis for solving the 3-phase system, and similarly we can find the charging current on per phase basis using this formula, wherein we will use the line to neutral capacitance instead of line to line capacitance. Now there is one more thing. As we know that there is a voltage drop along the length of the line, since both inductance as well as capacitance are distributed along the length of the line. Instead of being lumped, the capacitance and inductance are distributed along the length of the line. So the voltage here or at any other point will not be equal. So the capacitance will also not be equal. But if we use the rated value or the rated RMS value of the line for which it has been designed, then the error which we see on the calculated value and the observed value is very small. So to calculate this charging current or some other parameters, we will use the rated value of the line, rated RMS value of the line voltage, and the effect of the distributed parameters will be neglected because the error will be very small. Now, in the next lecture, we will see how to derive the expression of the capacitance of a transmission line when these sides are not equal. That is, we will try to solve using transposition as we did in our inductance lectures. Now, there is one more thing to note here, that here in both expression for capacitance, the expression came out to be like this. Okay, so this thing R here is the radius of the conductor, but in inductance theory we saw that it was not R, it was equal to R prime or the self GMD of that conductor, which was equal to 0.7788 into R if it was a solid conductor. But in capacitance it is the actual radius. So that's the only difference if we see the logarithmic part of the expression of inductance and capacitance, and rest thing will remain same in the logarithmic part. The only difference will be in the constant K. So this gives us a hint that whatever formula, whatever method we used in derivation of inductance, similar methods can be used in derivation of capacitance. Just we will have to remember that instead of using R prime, we will have to use now just the radius of the conductor in all other formula. So in the next video, we will see how to derive the expression of a three-phase transmission line when it is transposed. Now, if you find my lectures helpful, then it is requested that you please share and subscribe my YouTube channel, and you can also join our Telegram group which we have created for doubt discussion of all the topics which we will cover in the YouTube lectures.